Hi everyone, I'm Keren Etkin, gerontologist, author of the age-tech Revolution book, and the founder of the gerontechnologies.com. Today we're going to cover what age-tech even means and why it's critically important at this point in time. We're going to look at some examples for age-tech solutions that are either already available in the market or will be available in the near future. Then we're going to take out our crystal ball and look at what age-tech could look like 5, 10, or 20 years from now. Before we dive in, I want to look at what age-tech even means. So, I like to define age-tech as technology that's designed to tackle the challenges of aging while including older adults in the design process. And that part of the definition is critically important, in my opinion, for those who look to create age-tech products that are not just solving a need, but people actually want to use them and feel proud to use them and to own them. If we were to look for age-tech solutions 15 years ago, what we would find would be similar to what you see on the screen right now. Walking aids, hearing aids, personal emergency response systems. The type of technology that, while it does serve a purpose and it solves a problem, it makes people who own it and wear it feel old and frail. Coughlin and Yaquinto call these products big, beige, and boring. Fast forward to the year 2023. We now have many more technological solutions at our disposal that don't just solve a need, but are also well designed, and they make the people who own them and wear them feel cool and hip. Now, there is a common misconception when talking about age-tech that it's just about digital health products or it's just about accessibility tech. And while there is some overlap between these categories, there is a lot of white space in the middle. And these are technological solutions designed for early retirees who just want to live their best life, who are looking for leisurely activities, or are looking to jumpstart the second or third act in their career. So there is a lot more to age-tech than hearing aids and mobility aids. There's actually a global ecosystem of startups who are utilizing the most cutting-edge technology to tackle the challenges of aging. What you see on your screen right now is the age-tech market map that I publish every year on the gerontechnologies.com, which covers hundreds of startups from all over the world. And it's not just startups. Some of the world's biggest tech companies, like Amazon, Apple, and Google, are dipping their toes into this space, either by creating age-tech products, by investing in startups, or by acquiring age-tech companies. And there are also dedicated funds and accelerators from around the world who are dedicated to investing and accelerating the development of age-tech solutions. In fact, when you look at the investment landscape over the past decade, you see that there is a year-over-year increase in the number of deals and also in the total amount of funding that these startups get. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, why are all these startups and big tech companies and incubators and venture capital companies so dedicated to investing in products that are for the aging population? The answer to that lies in two massive shifts our society is going through. The first is the demographic shift. The population over the age of 60 is growing faster than any other age group. And by 2050, we will have 2 billion people over the face of the earth who are over the age of 60. But it's not just that. A major result of the demographic shift is the longevity economy, the sum of all economic activity generated by the needs of older adults. According to the AARP, that number is expected to reach $65 trillion by the end of this decade. So the sum of all economic activity generated by the needs of 50-plus-year-old people will be larger than the sum of GDP of the United States, China, and Japan all together. The second major trend that makes all these startups and tech companies and VCs really invested in age-tech is the unprecedented digital transformation that our society is going through. When we look at the trend, we see that over the past 2 decades, older adults are adopting any type of technology that the general population is using in increasingly growing numbers. So social media, smartphones, tablets, smart TVs, any type of technology that the general population is using, older adults are using it too. And when it comes to tech spending, according to the AARP, just in the United States, older adults spend hundreds of billions of dollars each and every year on technology. And COVID, of course, accelerated this trend. Let's look at some examples for age tech solutions that are either already in the market today or will be available in the near future. I'm going to divide them by categories. So the first category is, of course, health. With the increase in life expectancy, there's also an increase in health expectancy. However, because health is so advanced these days in Western countries, people are able to live 10, 20, or 30 years sometimes with chronic conditions that in the past people used to die from. And so there is this gap between health expectancy and life expectancy. Health is a multifaceted challenge that impacts people's quality of life as well as their ability to age in place independently. I want to share with you today 2 innovative solutions that address health-related challenges. The first would be rehabilitation, and the second would be medication management. We all know how challenging it can be for older adults to get the rehabilitation they need if they don't live in a big city or if they're not as mobile as they used to be. XR Health is a company that uses virtual reality and augmented reality to provide people with rehabilitation in the comfort of their own home. So how does it work? The healthcare providers partnered with XR Health, and the patients can choose a licensed healthcare professional from the fields of physical therapy, occupational therapy, or mental health. They get a VR kit sent to their home with custom training programs and a custom rehabilitation plan from their licensed healthcare professional. And the healthcare professional can track their progress remotely, making sure that they are on track to making a full recovery. The next challenge would be medication management. Managing your medications is a huge challenge if you're taking a large number of medications. So there are various solutions for this problem, some of them more technological, some of them are less technological. The solution that I wanted to share with you today is an automatic pill dispenser. The Hero Health pill dispenser allows you to load up to 90 days worth of pills into this automatic pill dispenser. It then notifies you if it's time to take your medication and dispenses the right pill at the right time. You'll also get a reminder if your pills are running low. The next challenge that I want us to cover today is falls. Falls is a major health concern for older adults. According to the World Health Organization, almost 700,000 people die every year as a result of a fall-related injury. The majority of fatalities can be attributed to people over the age of 60. There's a large variety of technological solutions that can aid in fall detection and prevention. Some of them are wearables and some of them are sensors that can be installed in your home. Today I want to show you a very interesting solution coming out of Belgium. So the Nobi lamp is a lamp that's mounted on the ceiling and it can detect falls within a room. When it detects a fall, it can alert the caregivers so they can promptly provide help. A recent study that Nobi published shows that in one senior living community where they ran a pilot, Nobi was able to reduce falls by 84%. How do they do that? Well, when Nobi detects that a person is about to get out of bed in the middle of the night, it turns on the light. It's as simple as that. Turning on the light helps reduce a significant number of falls. And if a fall does occur, Nobi is able to alert the caregiver. Another solution that I'm sure many of you already wear on your wrists is the Apple Watch. So the most recent versions of the Apple Watch have a sensor that is able to detect falls and alert emergency services. On top of this, Apple released a gait assessment feature in iOS devices, so any of you who have the newer iPhones can access a score of your walking steadiness and get an alert if there is a change in your walking steadiness that might mean that you're at an increased risk of falling. The next challenge that is worth discussing is the financial challenge. With the increase in life expectancy, there is a question of whether or not people have enough retirement savings to last them for 20 or 30 years of retirement. And so there are a number of startups that can help with that particular challenge. The first example that I want to talk about today is Silver, an app that helps people calculate their retirement score. So you download the app, you enter your information according to how much money you're making, how much money you have saved for retirement, how much you are currently spending on housing and other stuff. And this app can actually calculate when you will be able to retire and for how long will your retirement savings last. If you live in your current apartment, or if you move to a smaller, cheaper apartment, or if you add another source of income, like renting a room in your home for someone else. Another major financial concern for people as they grow older is scam and fraud prevention. Elder care fraud costs billions of dollars, and it's a major challenge. A startup called Careful was actually founded with the purpose of tackling this particular issue. What Careful does is it helps people and family caregivers monitor people's bank account in order to detect any unusual behavior and prevent ongoing scams and fraud, and helping people just make sure that they still maintain and keep their retirement savings for the rest of their lives. Careful looks at every transaction and indicates whether it looks good or it looks suspicious, and then it alerts the person who holds the account and the family caregiver. The next challenge would be transportation. As all of you already know, there is a challenge with driving as people grow older. And when people's health means that they can no longer drive themselves safely and they have to stop driving, they lose a major chunk of their independence. Think about it. Just getting from your house to getting your groceries or meeting your friends is a huge challenge in some parts of the world if you're no longer able to drive yourselves. Enter startups like GoGoParent and Silver Ride. GoGoParent is a startup that was established in San Francisco with a very simple premise. They're going to help older adults book an Uber or a Lyft even if they don't own a smartphone or they just don't want to fiddle with an app and enter their credit card information into it. Older adults who live in areas where GoGo Grandparent provides a service can simply pick up the phone and call an Uber. It's as simple as that. And Silver Rides is one example for a service that is a dedicated ride-hailing service for older adults. Unlike traditional ride-hailing services like Uber and Lyft, which give you a curb-to-curb service, ride-hailing services that are specifically built for older adults give you a door-to-door service. So they have drivers that are particularly trained to work with older adults, and they can come to your door, help you get out of your house, into the car, get you where you need to be. And some of these services even allow the driver to wait with you while you run your errands and then take you back home safely. Another category that has been revolutionized over the past few years is sensory aids. So I want to show you two really cool examples for sensory aids that aid with vision and with hearing. So the Orcam My Eye is a wearable that attaches to any pair of glasses and uses computer vision to be your artificial vision. All you have to do is point at what you're looking at, and the Orcam My Eye will read the text aloud for you. It can also be used to identify faces and objects, which is really cool. Another sensory aid that utilizes AI is the Oticon More. This is the world's first hearing aid with a deep neural network embedded on the device itself. The DNN is trained on 12 million real-life sounds to give your brain more of the information it needs to decipher the intricate details of relevant sounds. As a result, you get better speech understanding with less effort, even in noisy environments. The next challenge is everyday assistance. So sometimes people just need a little bit of assistance in or around the house. So they don't yet need a paid caregiver, but they might need some assistance with everyday activities, like grocery shopping, some assistance with the technology that they use around the house, or even some companionship. Luckily, there are startups today, and these are just two examples. These types of startups exist all over the world that have built marketplaces that enable people to get that little bit of help that they need when they need it. So small things like meal preparation, light housework, some assistance with your computer or your iPad, getting a ride somewhere, getting someone to get your groceries or get your prescriptions from the pharmacy, or even provide some companionship. These startups are where you go to get that little bit of assistance. And in fact, Papa currently partners with healthcare providers with the purpose of getting this type of assistance to any older adult who needs it across the United States. Another thing that could really help people around the house is a service robot. And while we are not quite at a point in time where we can have one robot that does everything, we already have service robots that are able to vacuum the floors, for example, in our homes. So Labrador Systems created a service robot that is able to carry objects around the house. And with its Alexa integration, you can also use your voice to call this robot. So how does it actually work? The Labrador robot can move around the house and fetch specific items that are stationed on dedicated trays. So it can fetch stuff from your refrigerator, stuff from your laundry room, and it can really be helpful and beneficial for people who have some sort of physical disability that makes it challenging for them to carry objects around the house. So when the Labrador robot carries heavy objects for them around the house, it means that they can perform various tasks independently. Tasks that in the past, they might have needed the help of a second person to do. The next challenge that I want to talk about today is cognitive care, and specifically dementia and Alzheimer's. So we know that people who have dementia or Alzheimer's may struggle with the basic activities of daily living. So even if they physically are able to do things like brush their hair and their teeth and put their clothes on, because of their dementia or Alzheimer's, they might not be able to do it without an external assistance. So a startup called MapHabit actually created a scientifically based approach to helping older adults who live with Alzheimer's or dementia perform various routines of daily living all by themselves or with just a little bit of assistance. So their innovative system organizes habits, routines, and tasks into visual maps, which are step-by-step guides on how to perform daily activities on their own or with the help or support of a partner or caregiver. Another type of technology that has been proven to be helpful for people with dementia are pet robots. So Paro, the seal robot that you see on the left-hand side, is a robot that has been created in Japan, and there has been extensive research done into how Paro can really help people with dementia and Alzheimer's. So Paro is mostly used in memory care units, so in senior living communities that actually provide care for people with dementia or Alzheimer's. The way that Paro works is that it mimics the way a baby seal might act. So it makes sounds and it moves, and when you touch it, it gives you feedback. And studies have shown that Paro actually reduced agitation with dementia patients. And as a result, it improved not just their well-being, but also the well-being of the staff in the facility. Paro is mostly used in care settings in senior living communities, and it's quite expensive. It's about $5,000. However, there is a more affordable pet robot that anyone can get on Amazon, and these are Joy for All's pet robots that come in the form of cats or dogs. So these only cost around $100, and they provide some of the comfort and companionship that a real pet might provide, but they don't require any taking care of. Obviously, you don't need a litter box for a robotic cat, and you don't need to take a robotic dog out for a walk, but they still provide comfort and companionship similar to what a real pet might. The next challenge that I want to share with you today is loneliness. Research has shown that being lonely has a negative impact on someone's health that is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And so there are various startups out there who are trying to use various technologies to tackle this particular challenge. One such company would be Intuition Robotics, the company behind the robotic companion EliQ. So EliQ is a social robot that I had the pleasure of working on. I was actually this company's first employee. And it was built on the premise that we could use technology not to replace humans, but rather serve as a bridge for better and more frequent human communication, and also to be this new type of companion. EliQ is a social robot that is able to express herself in various ways. So sound, speech, LED lights, and content displayed on the screen. EliQ is able to do anything that a smart speaker might do, but she's also able to be proactive. So EliQ is able to decide, based on users' habits and preferences, when would be a good time to engage with her user. And she's also able to decide what type of interaction is suitable for this particular moment in time with this particular user. And the simple fact that users have some sort of companion in their home that is curious about them, that asks them, hey, how did you sleep last night? And remembers stuff about them, makes people feel a little bit less alone. According to research published by the company, EliQ was able to reduce loneliness for 95% of respondents and general wellness for 97% of them. It also helped users connect more to the outside world. For these reasons and others, several government agencies in the United States have partnered with the company to distribute EliQ robots to older residents with the purpose of improving their quality of life. Another interesting technology was created by a company called Uniper. So Uniper created a set-top box that makes any TV into a smart TV, and they also create curated content for older adults. So older adults who subscribe to Uniper can get curated content on their own TV screen from the minute they wake up in the morning until the time they go back to sleep. The set-top box comes with a remote that contains a microphone and a camera that can be mounted on the TV screen. So people who use Uniper to participate in fitness classes or an online book club can actually participate in this experience from the comfort of their own home and share this experience with older adults who share similar interests. And now it's time to take out our crystal ball and imagine what age tech could look like 5, 10, or 20 years from today. So, generative AI is the ability of AI to create new stuff, whether it is text, images, or video. Now, there are already startups that are utilizing generative AI for the purpose of tech training and providing concierge services to older adults. And I believe that in the near future, we will see generative AI used in various ways to tackle loneliness and social isolations. It could be through social robots like EliQ, and it could be via chatbots that are available on any type of smartphone. The next solution that's in the future, it's way out there, but it could also potentially be very significant for loneliness and social isolation, is the metaverse. So we already have virtual reality and augmented reality solutions catering to the various challenges of aging. Right now, the best solution we have, if we want to interact with a loved one that is far away and we want to feel closer to them, the best solution would be a Zoom call or a FaceTime call, which is good, but it's not great. So how cool would it be if in the future we would have technological solutions that would actually make us feel like we're in the same room with a loved one? Imagine if I were to sit in my home to have dinner, and my grandma would sit in her home to have dinner, and we would have some sort of technology, I don't know if it's a VR headset or a holodeck, that would make us feel as if we're having dinner together. How cool would that be? My final prediction is that by the time I'm in my 80s and 90s, I will have a service robot in my home which will be able to provide me with the assistance I need to age in place independently. And I know it might sound like a dystopian future for some of you, but when we look at the care shortage and when we look at the demographics, we understand that there will not be enough caregivers to care for everyone who reaches old age and might require assistance someday. And personally, when my children and grandchildren will come to visit me when I'm older, I don't want them to change light bulbs or do the dishes. I want the robot to do all of the manual stuff, and I want my family members to sit down, have a conversation with me, and create these meaningful memories that they will have to take with them for after I'm gone. That is the end of my presentation. If you want to sign up for updates from the Gerontechnologist, head over to thegerontechnologist.com and subscribe for updates. And if you want to get the Age-Tech Revolution book, it's available on Amazon in audiobook, Kindle, and also hard copy formats. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the rest of the conference.